Hey, Tactical Painter on out in the Soots Crafting Wood Shop. Welcome on out to the shop today. Got an interesting one today. We're going to be doing just a real quick short video. You've already probably seen the description. We're going to be testing to see how well 5-minute epoxy polishes up, sands up, and carves up. The reason why we're asking this question is because I've got this hybrid blank here that I am doing for a customer for a Baron pen kit. And inside, when I cast this, there are small voids. They're not very deep, but with the depth of the bushing that I have to lathe or turn this down to, it's right within the tolerances that I'm going to be getting really close to those voids, I think. So I want to see if I go on the inside of the tube and fill that in with 5-minute epoxy that I've added some pigment to. If I do turn this all the way down to those voids and that 5-minute epoxy shows up, is it going to take a high grade polish like the Alumilite will, and is it going to look as nice and all that? So what I've done is I've cast up some 5-minute epoxy and I've added some gold to it, and so it actually looks pretty nice right now, and I want to see how well it turns. And I want to see if it polishes up. Now, they're not very big pieces. They kind of broke off. They're a little brittle, I have to say. I cast them out in kind of a blob, and then I picked them off of this piece of HDPE that I had, and they kind of chip off. So I'm knowing already that they're kind of brittle. And so we're going to go into this. We're going to take it easy. We're going to be taking precautions. I'm going to be wearing a respirator. I'm going to have larger glasses on, and we're just going to see exactly how well this polishes. I searched the internet for 2 days. 2 days I searched the internet, could not find whether or not anybody had tested if 5-minute epoxy will take a high grade polish and if it will work well for this application. So we're going to throw it on the lathe here. We're going to see how well it works, and without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so I've got a piece put on here. This is just a little piece of throwaway stock that I've got on here that I use for doing small pieces of jewelry. I'm just going to hit this real quick with my round scraper and just kind of smooth that face off and get it nice, and see if it'll even turn with a round scraper, or if I don't need to take a skew to it, and you know, because it is fairly hard. I just got to have it stuck to a piece of double stick tape on here. So let's just go ahead and get it started. So it doesn't feel bad turning. Let's go ahead and see how well of a polish it'll take. Okay, so it looks like it will take a polish. It is brittle though. I mean, it did crack and break off in pieces and here and there. I was working with a very small piece. I mean, you can see the size of my thumbnail. There's my thumbnail, and there's the piece I was working with. So it does behave a lot differently. Focus, sorry. Does behave a lot differently than a normal epoxy or Alumilite or anything like that. It is definitely harder than those, and it does seem more brittle because of that. But it did polish up. It does look nice. I think if I were to use this and fill those voids that I showed you earlier, that it would polish and look like little gold pieces inside of that pen. So I think this will work. We'll give this a shot and see how it turns out. And if it doesn't turn out, then we'll just start it over and make it better. Alright, thanks so much for joining me out in the shop. So it did polish up. It does look good. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It's not the best sheen, the best polish, but it is going to look nice inside of that other piece, that piece that we're making for this jeweler. And so it will look like a piece of gold inside the black Alumilite. So I think it'll be a nice feature if it does show up. If it doesn't get all the way down to the voids, which I'm hoping that it doesn't, then we won't have to worry about it. But if it does, then it'll look like there's actually gold flakes and pieces of gold inside the pen. So that'll look kind of neat. So we'll see what happens. You'll know later in the video when I finally get that whole thing released. Thank you so much for joining me out in the shop. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. I'm going to have, as soon as it's done, the link to the video that this piece I was testing for. It's going to be right here for that Baron pen. And then go ahead and check out one of my other videos. Come on by the site. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me out in the shop today. Tactical Painter, signing off.